Meanwhile, developers in New York who also have accents, San Francisco and Washington, all struggling to sell sky-high real estate. What's going on?
But what else do those cities all have in common? Our next guest has a reality check for liberal lawmakers.
Big city developers are struggling to sell sky-high real estate, especially here in New York. More than 40% of apartments are sitting unsold in New York City's Billionaires Row, which is 57th Street here in New York. This, as a judge just signed off on plans to convert a former hotel on Billionaires Row into a homeless shelter. But it's not just happening in New York. San Francisco and Washington, D.C. are facing similar problems. What do all these cities have in common? Let's talk to Jason Meister. He's managing director at the Ackman Ziff Real Estate Group. He is also a member of the 2020 Trump Advisory Board. Jason, good morning to you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So what do all those cities have in common?
The cities they're run by Democrats, okay? And what happened in the 2017 Tax Cut and Reform Bill was basically you put all the states on a level playing field. And they have to basically compete for the high earners and the job creators.
Right.
And what's happened is you have a mass exodus from blue states to red states, states that are more favorable for taxes and for job creation. And so what's happening is these high earners, these high net worth individuals, these job creators are leaving the city because there's places where they can go where there's better tax, it's more favorable to them.
And you know, famously, San Francisco has got a terrible homeless problem, and you know, that breaks your heart. But at the same time, just as is the case in Washington, D.C., and we'll put up some facts about San Francisco and D.C. housing, they have priced themselves out of being able to sell to the people who live in these towns.
Right. Well, look, Steve, the best antidote to homelessness are jobs. And unfortunately, the economic and policy environment right now in New York City, run by incompetent leadership like Mayor de Blasio and Governor Cuomo, they're basically forcing high net worth individuals out that create the jobs. They're also chasing out companies like Amazon, right, that could have created tens of thousands of jobs to minorities, to everyone. And the best antidote to homelessness are job creation.
Yeah, you know, when you look at the facts, those three cities as well are, for the most part, sanctuary cities as well. So, you know, I don't know that contributes to the homeless situation, but it does contribute to, you know, a raft of other problems. It
adds to that environment that's just, it's anti-business, anti-success, anti-wealth, anti-job creation. It's an environment in which it makes for an unsafe investment. New York always was a safe investment. And what's happening is it's becoming an unsafe investment. Capital is very smart. It leaves when things are not safe.
Right. But so, Jason, what do you say to people who say, well, you know, Jason sells apartments to really rich people and they can afford, you know, whatever extra it's going to cost or whatever problem they come up with along the way.
Capital is very smart. They understand where they should invest their money. This city needs to really shape up. New York State is going to lose $2.8 billion of tax revenue. We're going to lose 800,000 residents who pay taxes. This state has a serious problem. So does California. Blue states need to shape up. They're fiscally irresponsible, and investors are not going to be here. That's just not going to happen.
When you take somebody out who's thinking about buying a space for an office or a business or a really fancy apartment, and they're looking at it and they go, the view's fantastic. What's the biggest thing about what you've been talking about that they go, I don't know, that's kind of bugging me?
Look, the views are important, but the overall in business climate, the environment, the taxes, it's an economic decision, not just an emotional decision. It's economic, and the economics in New York City right now don't work.
Jason Meister from Ackman Ziff Real Estate Group, and he's also on the President's Advisory Board. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, sir.